Ew. Yay! It's me. I'm Matt Moscardi. Live from the bottom side of a climate grenade, it's a weekend catch-up edition of Business Pants. I'm your lonely host. I'm very lonely. Nobody ever wants to join me anymore. Damien, I think, is quit. Ari is... I don't even know what Ari does. I'm just by myself. In today's moist news bag called September 6th, 2022, we got big stories over the weekend. We're just doing big stories over the weekend. That's all we're going to do. We're going to rush through some of the big stories over the weekend, and then we're going to end with something incredibly sad. You ready for this? All right, let's do this thing. First up, Russia cuts off gas to Europe indefinitely. The result of them turning off the gas to Europe is likely to be Europe resorting to coal and leaving behind climate targets because apparently people vote and they don't like dying in the cold of winter. But that's Russia's hope. And if you're thinking that Russia is really hoping not for economic sanctions to end, I have a theory. My theory is that this is all Putin's plan to slowly turn Russia into a drunker, more conservative version of Tampa Bay, Florida by 2100. Turn on all the coal. Let's get this climate change going. At which point, this picture right there, that picture is likely to be banned from libraries too, because that's what we do in Tampa here. That's what happens. In uplifting news, this might be my favorite story of the weekend. Trump tried to subvert democracy, but can't figure out how to unsubvert it. Here's the headline: shares of Trump-linked SPAC fall after merger extension vote reportedly fails. Even though one guy owns 20% of the stock, and to get a quorum, they only needed 65% of shareholders to vote, they apparently didn't get it. That's right. Another election was stolen from Trump, this time from his media company, by his own lazy meme shareholders who didn't bother to show up to the polls. The result might be if the extension fails, the SPAC liquidates and Trump Media gets no capital. Trump Social or Truth Social has to start again, which will be hard given how Trump and the SPAC are currently under investigation for basically everything ever that's ever happened to anyone. Speaking of memes, in sadder news, Bed Bath & Beyond CFO Gustavo Arnal committed suicide over the weekend. He was under investigation for pumping and dumping shares along with Ryan Cohen, the meme stop king of GameStop fame. But let's get something straight. It's not a story necessarily about Mr. Arnal, who unfortunately committed suicide. This is a story about when you turn money into a stupid game, no matter how fake stocks might be. There actually tend to be real people in the game with real jobs who are affected by this. We built Board Sabermetrics, our own platform, to tell you who these people are, to give them a face and a name, because they're real. It's not all a fun joke. And Robinhood, home to meme stock stupidity, is a fake democracy with dual-class shares that insulate its leaders from actual responsibility. And in 2020, when a college kid committed suicide because the platform turned money into a happy, fun time, Robinhood's response was to now operate a suicide hotline for its customers. Instead of stopping it being a game and stop using the word democratizing, which is a stupid way of saying we're going to give you all the power to do something you have no actual education to do, no, we're just going to open up a suicide hotline for when you think about killing yourself because of all the ridiculousness. Maybe we can talk you out of it. Next up, I'm sure Robinhood has planned a suicide hotline for executives at the companies where the their customers are actually getting their lulls. And speaking of lulls, the billionaire genital measuring contest is heating up. That's right. Heading out of the headline out of the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, yachts and watches. The real CEO flex is washboard abs. Yeah, that's the thing. That's apparently a CEO flex now. The hard-hitting news covered Jeff Bezos's biceps, Strauss Zelnick's twice daily workout routine, and Elon Musk jumping in saying, quote, "I should work out." Yeah, that's what he said. I think he's got a little envy. It also featured Willie Walker, who's the CEO of Walker and Dunlop, which is a real estate company, saying his weight training resulted in, quote, an 8-pack, but he doesn't want to post pictures of himself on Instagram and brag because it feels, quote, a little bit too self-aggrandizing. Feels a little bit too self-aggrandizing? Doing a 1,000-word spread about your workout routine isn't. This was in the Wall Street Journal. He's quoted talking about this in the Wall Street Journal. It's positively humble. The article did manage to compare and contrast male CEOs getting woke to ab routines to women who, for around 3 millennia, have had to pay attention to their physical appearance because they wouldn't get jobs, they'd get mocked, they get paid less. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm getting breaking news. Apparently those things have not stopped happening. Women still have to do all those things. Why are we writing about this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever read. If the Journal wanted to do an article, a competing article on female executives, it probably couldn't find enough to cover, and that's why they're writing about this. Speaking of diversity and genitals, I guess, there are no black elves or female heroes. Or so the anti-woke say, because they're angry at the wokeness of Amazon. Over the weekend, a headline coming out of CNN covering the drop of the new Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. Here's the headline: When wokeness comes to Middle-earth, why some say diverse casting ruins the new Lord of the Rings series. First of all, some are the editor of Red State, a conservative media outlet, and an academic who wrote a book on Tolkien, but also wrote this book or this piece called Understanding Jordan Peterson's Connections to Prophetic Christian Truth. And he wrote that unironically. So some also includes blowhard billionaire Elon Musk, who said, quote, Tolkien is turning in his grave, and, quote, almost every male character so far is a coward, a jerk, or both. Only Galadriel is brave, smart, and nice. That was supposed to be a knock on the show. Apparently, though, Musk thinks only white dudes can have nice things. Not this guy over here. No, he can't have nice things. Not that guy. No, not going to be him. Or that. Probably really nice lady. She can't have nice things either. I mean, it is easy to suspend disbelief for things like dragons or evil black-faced orcs. And they probably listen to Kendrick Lamar. I don't know. Or even like short, hairy dudes with grandpa beards who dig for mythical metals that don't exist and are indestructible. That I can get behind. I can believe that. But a brown elf, that guy? No way. I'm out. What the F is that? I am out. It's worth actually pointing out here, before I go on, that up until about 5 years ago, corporate boards were on average 90% white and 80% male. And the percentage of cowards and jerks is currently unknown. But here is a picture of the wokeness of Amazon's board. Amazon themselves. This is where the woke comes from. Where there are 2 people of color out of 11, which is about, I think, the ratio of black elves to white ones. I'm not totally sure. But either way, it's not great. In the big story coming out of the weekend, climate change poo-poo platter. In the last 48 hours alone, here are the news stories covering the myriad of idiosyncratic and crappy ways climate change is screwing with you. These are all real. I did not make one of these up. If you're a teacher, first, here's the headline: the cost of climate change on schools, hot classroom, and shortened days. So teacher, it's about to get a lot sleepier in your classroom. No air conditioners there. If you're single, I'm sorry. Here are the headlines. I couldn't date a climate change denier. The couples who bond and split over love for the planet. And here's another one. From Merlot's flavor to Cabernet's acidity, here's how climate change is reshaping the world's most beloved wine regions. I put that in single. I feel like maybe I'm making a maybe I'm not being woke enough. But apparently your wine's gonna suck now. If you like going on hikes, here are a few headlines to make you feel worse about yourself. Is climate change making poison ivy worse? Here's the lead. It is. It's actually not making it more. It's making it both more toxic, as in itchier, and spread more. How about this headline? Climate change and the future of mountain ultra marathons. That's out of the LA Times. Guess what? They have no future. Or this one, allergy season impacted by climate change, scientists say. Yes, they do. They say your allergies suck more. That's what they say. Or my favorite, climate change can make bumblebees wake up too early and die. That's a headline. That's what climate change is doing. And for those of you who generally like not being dead, here's the worst headlines, because these are the nice ones. The worst ones are U.S. flood maps outdated thanks to climate change, FEMA director says. And climate change may make air turbulence worse. As in, you can fall out of the sky now, thanks to climate change. That's what we have to look forward to. And I'm going to end the poo-poo platter hors d'oeuvres section with the main course, a game show you can play by yourself. Here's the headline I'm playing it off of. By 2080, climate change will make U.S. cities shift to climate seen today hundreds of miles to the south. That's right. We now know what your new climate city is. So strap in. Let's play this game. Are you ready? Guess which city you now live in, climate-wise, if you are in New York City. If you live in New York today, you know what your climate's going to be like in 2080? It's going to be like Jonesboro, Arkansas. That's right. Tornado Alley just moved to the northeast. It packed up and took a Greyhound. It now lives next to you. How about Portland, Maine, home of our own intrepid Damian Rollis? Portland, Maine will now be like Baltimore, Maryland. I think they both have crabs, though, so that's not that big of a change. How about San Francisco? San Francisco's got to be like something crazy, right? It is. It's like Palos Verdes, California, which it all sounds like it's in California, except California is basically the entire coast, and this is outside of LA. So you hear that, tech bros? Because now you too can have no water, ever. No water for you. So forget your avocado toast and your coconut water. There's no coconuts, there's no avocados, and there's no water. And finally, if you are in Houston, Texas, your new climate city is, according to this study, in Mexico. It's Ciudad Monte in Mexico. Where do we build the border wall if Houston's now in Mexico? Do you have to build it? Do you build it on the current border? Do you build it on the climate border? And who are we keeping out? Because it's certainly, we can't keep out the heat. The wall's not going to work that way. That's all I got. I was Matt Moscardi, Chief BS Analyst. We are Free Float Media. This was Business Pants. Come back tomorrow for more of whatever it is we do here. I'll talk to you then.